Good morning, everyone. Are you hearing me?
Good morning. No.
Yes.
Great. Okay. I'll just wait 2 minutes and then we will start. Okay. Just to be sure that everyone has joined the meeting. Okay, let's start. First, I want to welcome you. Thank you for joining today's webinar with Mr. Ziad, who will be sharing with us the tips and the tricks to support us in our job application. So let us welcome him and let him start the webinar.
Thank you very much, Ghana. Thank you everyone for attending. Hello for everyone. A special hi for all the teachers, professors, doctors that joined us today. It's an honor to have you, especially that some of you I might have taken some classes with. I can see Professor Rima and I don't know if I can see anyone because there's a lot of attendees. So thank you very much for attending and for waiting to start the session. Well, I'm going to give you a little brief about myself, and then we will start the core focus on the CV writing. My name is Ziad Moghrabi. Like you, I was a student in RHU. I graduated around 12 years ago, and it was an amazing experience. I still recall all the experiences that I had in the university, from sitting in the cafeteria, waiting long hours between courses, to walking around the campus. It was a beautiful campus, and interacting with all the professors in the university. It was a very nice experience. And so I majored in business marketing at the time. And after I graduated, my first position was in HR, as an HR coordinator in a local construction company in Lebanon. So why am I telling you this? Why am I giving you this little brief about myself, how I started? Because usually the first position that you take, the first job that you take after university determines the next 10 to 15, or maybe your whole 10 to 15 years, or maybe your whole career in the future. So we have to think hard about what's the next step we're going to take after university, and we're going to talk about it shortly. So after I started my career in HR as an HR coordinator in a construction company in Lebanon, I was lucky. I liked HR. I started developing myself, my knowledge, my work experience, my certificates as well outside of the company that I was working in, and moved to an FMCG company. FMCG is a fast-moving consumer goods company that distributes these goods to the market in Lebanon as well, a local company. From there, I decided to travel to work with multinationals, and the hub for multinationals in our region is in Dubai and the United Arab Emirates. I packed up my suitcase, I went to Dubai, I printed out my CV, put them in a leather case, and started going to companies around Dubai, applying in hand. I divided Dubai into sections like the Media City, Business Bay, Downtown, Knowledge Village, etc., and started every day going to these companies in these places, in these cities. I started applying in hand. Then I used to go home, call them after I list down the companies that I applied to. I used to call them, telling them, hello, my name is Ziad. I applied today for this and this position. I would love a chance for an interview, and I'm here only for this date up to this date. That was back in 2012. I stayed in Dubai for 21 days. On the 20th day, I got the first call for my first job interview in Dubai. I went to the job interview in the same day because I told them I was traveling the next day, and I got the position the next day, which is the 21st day of my stay here in Dubai. The position was HR executive in a distribution company for cosmetics and beauty supplies. They were also suppliers. Stayed with them a couple of years. Then I started moving to bigger companies, to Shell Hoop, to Fendi, and now I'm working as an HRBP in Gucci. Now, the Gucci, how it works, the regional office is in Dubai, and we handle the full region, including South Africa and Turkey. And we report to the head office of Worldwide, which is located in Milan, in Italy. This is basically just for you to have an idea how the companies work here in UAE. When we say head office is in UAE of a multinational, most probably the corporate office of the multinational is located somewhere maybe in US, in Europe, in Asia, somewhere else. And then the corporate office or the head office of the region can be in Dubai or maybe in other country in the region. Again, thank you for listening. This is a short brief about myself. And I've been working in HR for the past 12 years. I worked in recruitment, payroll, comp and ben, like different sectors, sections of HR, because there are so many sections under it. And I like to keep it generic. I like to keep my experience generic, not to specialize only in one thing. But there was a period that I specialized in talent management and recruitment. And this is what led me to share my experience now today with you in this webinar about CV drafting. So let's get to it. You're students now. Some of you already have part-time jobs. Some of you never worked in their lives. Some of you worked with their family businesses. So how shall I get my first job? What do I need to do? Why all companies say required, for example, 2 years of experience minimum, or 5 years, or 7 years, etc. But you don't have any experience, how you're going to get the first job? There are so many ways that you can get your first job, or there are so many ways that you can increase your chances in getting the first job. So what do we need to do? We need to have first the first step to be perfect, which is our research and our perfect CV, because the CV represents us without being there. A lot of people don't put a lot of effort in the CV. And this is very wrong. We have to focus on the CV because it's what gives the first impression to the recruiter before we reach the interviewing stage. So how do I increase my chances in writing the perfect CV? There are tips and tricks. There are things that you can read online. You can see, for example, steps in making the perfect CV. You need to look at the formatting, how you organize the CV, what are the information that you need to include, but it doesn't say how to increase your chances. It only says that this is the typical CV, this is what you need to do, and you'll be the same as hundreds of thousands of other candidates in the market. You know, it's a very competitive market, so we need to make our CV stand out. Let's start with the basics a little bit. Let's see how to formulate the typical complete CV. I'm not going to say that what will make us stand out, it's the complete CV. So we start, of course, with the name, the contact information to be in the middle on top of the CV, and this is going to be our title of the CV. It's like you're selling something and you're putting the title and the name of this product that you are selling. Then you go, because we are fresh graduates, we don't have much experience to include in the CV. We go to a small personalized brief about you, saying why the recruiter should contact you, why you are an interesting candidate to be the next intern or the next junior professional in that company. In this case, we write something very specific. Try to limit it for maybe 150 words, saying that I'm a skilled professional in 1, 2, 3, depending on the major that you are doing at the moment or the experience that you have. For example, let's say if it's in marketing, I'm a very skillful marketing professional, having worked on 1, 2, 3. حتى لو انتم ما عندكم الاكسبيرينس بال in the working field or the professional experience, let's focus on what you handled in university as projects. These are essentials for you to include in the in your CV, in your experience. Whatever you have as an experience as a project manager in a university. I remember we used to do a lot of projects in RHU. Any internship that you have done, any co-op, any project that you handled by yourself. What were your biggest achievements in this project? What were your main contributions in this project to make it a successful project? So these are the things that we need to focus on now. Try to identify them, sit, think about it, identify it, and from there, you can formulate it in your CV to make it clear and precise, and this is what recruiters look for. Now, if you have a little bit of experience, focus on how much value and what's the value that you added to this company or the project that you handled. Because always put yourself in the recruiter's place. Think that why would the recruiter hire me or call me for an interview? Think of why and how I'm going to add value to the company that I'm applying for. I will add value by, first of all, we need to read the job description that we are applying for. You saw a job post online. Let's read the job description, checking what they are requiring in the perfect candidate. And from there, you can formulate your CV. But don't write misleading information or wrong information in your CV. It's totally wrong. What you need to do is take the main points that you have in the job description and then rephrase the experience that you already have that is relevant to this job description, or the skills that they require, or the experiences that they require. I'll give you an example. For example, they ask for someone that has experience in PowerPoint presentations and preparing PowerPoint presentations. This is very basic, very basic requirement. You need someone who prepared board presentations that shows the annual results of sales. Let's say, for example, they wrote it in the job description. What do I write in my CV? I don't copy paste it. Copy paste it, the recruiter will identify it immediately. They will see that you copy pasted because they memorize the job description. We go to the CV and we write excellent skills in PowerPoint presentations and excellent analytical skills. And we put an example of something that you already prepared, having worked on 1, 2, 3 in university or on my personal experience. This will relate directly to the application that you have. We're going to go back to the CV now. The main sections: the name, contact information, and email. The email, don't put an old email. I used to have an email called desertsurvivor@hotmail.com. Imagine I put that in a CV. This is when they first started the internet in Lebanon. So make it professional. Your first name dot your last name @gmail.com or any domain. You can even buy a domain. You know that it's not that expensive, and you can buy a domain and write. For example, I can put Ziad Moghrabi at moghrabi.com. This is an email that shows that I actually put effort in my email. So how to sell my profile if I don't have the right experience or any experience? Let's focus on the skills of what you have. Let's focus on the experiences, no matter how small they are. Let's elaborate them. Let's show how much value I can add to any project that I'm going to handle in the future. There's a difference between a skill that you have and what you can add to the company that you are going to work for. Or let's say if there's a specific something that you know that you are good at, don't just mention it in the CV like we were talking about PowerPoint or Microsoft Excel. Don't mention in the skills Microsoft Excel. Say excellent Microsoft Excel skills by formulating pivot tables and formulas, etc. Try to work on that. I'm going to share with you, I know we have limited time. I'm talking about generic CVs, but I'm going to share with you also other techniques that you can use. Have you ever heard of tailoring a CV? Tailoring CVs is very important recently. Tailoring a CV, which means, as I was mentioning, reading the job description and then formulating your CV accordingly. Because each CV should be different, or each job application should be different. Don't ever apply with the same CV that you have to different jobs. Don't just say, okay, I formulated my CV, this is perfect, this is amazing, and start submitting it to all the companies or all the job vacancies online, on LinkedIn or job portals, or sending it by email. Always make it specific to the company that you're applying for. Show passion to the company that you're applying for. Show that you are very interested in working with them, and show that you can actually add value to them. If I make a very generic CV, it's just going to be another CV in the deck of hundreds of applications. Make it specific and customize it to the company that you're applying to. I'm interested in joining Google for 1, 2, 3. Search about their values, search about their environment. What do you have? I'm just giving you practical experience of what happens in the real world, in the market, not only theories. Make it specific to what they need. Reading the job description is the most important thing you can do before applying to a job. Or when they call you, you didn't apply and they called you for an internship or a first job, immediately ask for the job description. Read it. And while reading the job description, use the traffic light system. What's a traffic light system? It's a common system used worldwide that is very beneficial for us to know our capabilities and what we need to work on. The traffic light system has 3 colors: green, yellow, and red. When you hold the job description of a position that you're applying to, you get 3 markers. As I mentioned, green, yellow, and red. Use the green highlighter while going through the job description to highlight the things that you are good at. You know that you are good at, that you know that you can actually do. And these are going to be your areas of strength, as they mention a lot in interviews. It's a common question. So these are going to be the areas of strength that when you are asked about it, you know what you can do based on their requirements. In the yellow, you can highlight the points that you feel like you know them, but you need to improve. You're not that good at. So mark these points and skills in yellow and start working on them, on improving them. Then in red, you need to highlight the points that you have absolutely no idea about, and maybe you heard about them, but you have no skills in them. You cannot contribute, you cannot add value to these points. And these will be your areas of improvement, or some recruiters might call it areas of weakness, or points of weaknesses that you might have. So once you start having this system and you know your areas of improvement and you know your areas of strength, start working on that to develop your areas of improvement and develop also your key strengths and make them better. So if you don't get this job, you will get the other job because you'll be the strongest candidate in applying to the job that you want, whether it's in accounting and marketing, auditing, engineering, etc. It's up to you. Just giving you the general advice. After we list our experiences, make sure the capitalization is there. Make sure that you have absolutely no typos, because it's a killer. If you have one typing mistake, it's a killer in a CV. It's going to be disregarded. These small points make a difference because you don't have much experience yet. You are building your experience. So what do I need to focus on? The template, the formatting, the experience, the way I formulate my sentences. Short, make it a one-pager. Don't go to the other page. Don't add irrelevant information. We shouldn't add, for example, that I like to play PUBG in my free time. I like to go biking. It's irrelevant. Don't add, for example, references available upon request. I know as a recruiter that if I ask you for reference, you're going to give me. Why take the space in the interview, in the CV? Just use it for something else. The photo is very personal. You can put the photo up, or you can disregard it. But if you're gonna add a photo of yourself, make it professional, not a passport photo. Look straight at the camera, smile. Smile, not a very big smile, like a normal smile. Show yourself as an approachable person. These traits are very important in kicking off your career and starting your career and getting your first job interview. So focus on these little things. Let someone proofread it for you. No typos. The spacing is nice. Don't squeeze the information together just to make it in a one-pager. If you have to go to the second page, go. But I always prefer to have it as a one-pager. Only needed information and relevant information to the job should be included. To be more practical, I'm going to share with you now a CV template. And I know we're like a lot of people, maybe around 100 participants. So I ask you please to write your comments in the chat box, or just raise your hand and share your comment about the CV that I'm going to share now. One second. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Great. So who can tell me, just going through this CV, by the way, an important piece of information, the average time for a recruiter to look at your CV is less than 10 seconds. So make it count, make these 10 seconds count. Sometimes it takes 3 seconds to put the CV in the shortlisted or in the disregarded CVs. So always make sure that you pointed out the important information about you. You know, now in YouTube, they put a lot of 5 seconds advertisements, because the first 5 seconds are the most important part of the advertisement. It's either you skip it or you just continue watching. So consider this theory also in your CV, that it only takes less than 10 seconds to screen your CV. So go through this CV and just raise your hand or type it in the chat box and tell me, what do you think about it? Any idea? Any comment? What do you think? As a recruiter, any comment? Yes, Aya, please go ahead.
Okay, first the photo. It's
Mhm.
not a professional at all. He's wearing a sunglasses. Second, the email, the hamman@hotmail.com. That's so stupid. And what about the title, Ham Dogo? Is that a name? Is that his name?
It's his name, actually. Yeah.
Oh, it's his name. Oh, sorry. There's the sentences aren't like simple. There are like a lot of details.
Mm-hmm.
I spent like time reading them. They should be shorter so I can briefly read them.
Yes.
Okay, that's my comments.
Thank you very much,
yeah,
Aya.
And yeah, he put a hobbies section. It's totally useless.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you, Aya. Thank you very much. It's very important what you said. The photo, definitely not a professional photo. Sunglasses on a photo on a CV, not the right way to go. Another thing you mentioned, the email. Definitely, the Hamman is not a professional email, and it shows that you did not put any effort in it. You mentioned also the sentences. Okay, recommended advanced merchandise display techniques. This is also, you copied a sentence from the job description that you have. Show how you did it and what value you added to the company. That's more important. Show your accomplishments, more important than the work experience. So, thank you, Aya. Anyone else that would like to? Let me see. Yes, Abdullah, please go ahead.
Yes, I had a remark on these three boxes at the top, like because they have a unique color, we'll pay attention to them, and they are not even important.
Yes, thank you very
And
much,
also the
Abdullah.
skills, like they okay, good thing that he used this color so that it emphasized it, but progress bars, in my opinion, are not good for CVs because everyone sees them differently.
This is very, very important, Abdullah. Thank you. First of all, yes, the three boxes are irrelevant. You're showing that customer, then you yourself, and then you generate sales. Write it in your achievements and how you did it. You're trying to sell me something. I don't know you. I don't know what you've done. Mention it in your achievements. Not like this. It's totally irrelevant, definitely. The skills, this is something that a lot of CV templates now, when you download them online or someone recommends them to you, or you see, I receive CVs every day and I see them always. According to who you're rating yourself at 100%. According to which university, according to which system, software, who is giving this percentage? Who's assessing your skills? Yourself? I don't believe in those. Skills like progressive bars are totally irrelevant in a CV. I would advise to avoid them. Thank you, Abdullah. Please, Karim, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it would be better if he included a certificates section.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's all.
Yes, thank you. Yes, definitely. Certificates are very important in our current time, and it's what identify us or makes us stand out a little bit, because we might have a lot of employees or candidates that graduated from the same university with the same degree. So what do I have extra? Of course, it's the template, the CV, the way it's drafted, etc. But let me add also the certificates that I took. No matter how small the certificate is, it might make a difference in your job application. So definitely, yes, thank you. Lamiz, please go ahead.
Yes, he focused on his name and highlighted it as if he's interested in himself more than he's interested in the job. And the job is located in a small line, in a small font also.
Yes, it shows that he's a lot of high maintenance person. That's a little bit of a show off, don't you think? Focusing on the
Yes.
name and the shadow and that I will generate money. Okay, how? You're just telling me that you're going to generate money, but how you're going to generate money? This is very important. Don't focus on irrelevant stuff. Just focus. The main focus in a CV is how will you add value to the company that you're going to work for. Always keep this in mind. Yes, Tala?
Yes, I just wanted to add that in addition to the name, it's been in bold and highlighted, under the hobbies, there's a picture of monies that are jumping, coins. So I think no, it's not necessary to put that.
Yes, it's definitely not necessary. It just takes place in the CV, space from the CV that we can use for something else. It's a one-pager. That's the only thing that I see good in the CV. But yes, it doesn't make sense to add this. He's just showing that I will make a lot of money for you. Again, he's not
Yes, and
stating
it's
how.
something from his hobbies. He stated it
Yeah,
under the
hobbies. That his focus on money and his hobbies definitely doesn't make sense. Even the hobbies,
Yes.
jiu-jitsu and
And his
philosophy,
name.
and the name, of
Yes.
course. The hobbies, I mean, jiu-jitsu, how is it relevant? Why do I need to know what are your hobbies when you're applying for an accountant or a sales job? Just focus on what's relevant to the job.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, I saw Miss
Thank you.
Amaruddin. You're welcome, Tara. Miss Amaruddin had something to say.
Yes, hello. No, Tala just said what I want. As if all what he care about is how to
Showing
earn money.
off.
So he's doing all the CV only to show us how to. It's only doing his CV just to earn money, I think.
Yes,
This is
yes.
what he's saying. يعني.
Yes, definitely. Thank you. I mean, you have a recruiter's mind already. When you're applying for a job, I will say it over and over again, put yourself in the recruiter's position and look at your CV and review it as a recruiter. Everyone can be a recruiter.
Exactly.
No matter what you do, you're going to be one day a hiring manager, or you will have your own business and you will hire employees. So think about it.
Yeah.
When you look at a CV.
So if I'm a recruiter here, only I will see that this guy is coming to my company. He wants to join my company just to earn money, and he don't care about what يعني like skills or anything else. يعني he's just telling me عم بيقول لي إنه أنا جاي بس بدي أجيب مصاري بهيدا الدايجرام اللي حاطه.
Yes, definitely. He's showing that he has his own interest before the interest of the company. So definitely this is an application that can be disregarded. But be careful about one point, that this person might generate a lot of money. A lot of money. He might be the best salesperson I can find in the market, but he did not sell his profile right. So how he can be the perfect candidate for me if he's not even selling his profile right to the company? So what we look at when we are shortlisting CV is the full profile. We don't only look at the experience. Experience is very important. Achievements is more important. And the cultural fit is very important to see if this person has potential, has aspirations, motivated, passionate about the industry. These are things that we also look at when we are shortlisting candidates. Yes, Mr. Amaruddin, you have something else to say?
Yes, أنا كان بدي أسأل سؤال هون.
تفضلي.
لما بنعمل short listed CV فينا ضروري نكتب فيها الفانكشن، يعني نحن شو بنشتغل، يعني الديتيلز تبع الشغل تبعنا، لأنه أنا عندي هاي المشكلة على طول إنه أنا بشتغل كواليتي أوديتور بميدل إيست إيرلاين. you know quality يعني بس بدي اكتب حتى السيرتيفيكيت تبعوت المين يعني المهمين حاططهم ما حاطط كل شيء، واذا في شيء ثاني upon request. بس قصه انه الفانكشنز تبعولتي لانه بشتغل اكثر من فانكشن ضروري نكتبهم كلهم. انا هذا اللي بدي اعرفه، هون بوقع فيها للمشكله كل مره.
انت قصدك انه they are taking too much space اذا بدك تكتبيهم كلهم وبتبين too generic؟
صارت مثل اذا بتطلع فيها هلا هي صفحتين، اذا بتطلع فيها في جمل. عرفت كيف؟ طيب. فيها جمل وبتحسها كثير صارت انه اللي بده يشوفها بده يعني ياخذ وقته وعم يقراها.
Yes. So what are you applying for? You're applying for a position that requires certain set of skills اللي انت عندك هن. فأنا شو بعمل بهيدا الحالة؟ Again, as I mentioned, tailor your CV and make it customized based on the position that you're applying for. يعني أنا جيت عم أقدم على position أنت quality control، عم تقدمي على position يمكن auditing، ما بعرف إذا أنت you're passionate about auditing and you already have the skills required for the position. فأنا ما بقعد I don't list every single thing موجود بالjob description تبعي اللي بالشركة اللي قبل. I focus on the achievements that I have in this current position that is relevant to the position that I'm applying for. والباقيين I can put a very small brief about them. حتى you can remove them and just talk about them in an interview once you reach the interviewing stage. It's not necessary to write everything that you're working on بالjob description تبعك هلا. ما ضروري تكتبيها بالسي في، بتعدليها حسب البوزيشن اللي عم تقدمي عليه. واذا بدك تخلي الجينيريك سي في تحطيها على لينكدين او تعملي لها ابلود اونلاين. In this case keep it very brief and specific. ما بدنا نحط جمل كتير وطويله والقصص. Remember the 10-second rule. يعني look at your CV and take what you want from it in less than 10 seconds. Hopefully يكون جاوبتك. You're welcome. Yes, Tala.
كمان بالبروفايل تبعه under the picture he said hire me to boost your company and get the job done. It's like عم يجبرهم إنه خلص I'm the one, I'm the perfect one.
His idea is nice, but the way he formulated the sentence is wrong. يعني
Yes.
I cannot say get the job done. What does it mean get the job done? Your job, my job, what job?
Yes.
Mention that I achieved in my previous company $2 million in sales by elevating the sales team and sharing best practices with the team. I'm not examples هون نحن صرنا صح؟ عم نفرجي how did I achieve it. So I look forward in transferring my knowledge and my experience to your company and to
Yes,
we
exactly.
say the name of the company to make it more specific. His idea is written properly على ال CV.
Yes, true.
I'll show you quickly another CV. Okay, can you see this? So this is a CV of someone who's a little bit fresh graduate, can get it online. I mean, it's just a template. Even this, they called it a complete and perfect CV. I can still see some errors in the CV to make it stand out more. So I'm conscious about the time. So please, if someone has any comment, please go ahead about the CV to discuss it briefly. Yes, Tala.
Regarding the personal skills, okay, he's excellent in writing and verbal communication, but he didn't give an example.
Yes, skills. I can say excellent written and verbal communication skills. It delivers like 75% of the message.
Yes,
It's
he
not
needs to elaborate more. Yes.
Yes, لما أنا ما يكون عندي experience, when I don't have the full experience that they are requiring, let me focus on other things. I have excellent written and communication skills. Show me how. Write it briefly in the CV. Explain a little bit more. You have a lot of space in the CV. They called it the perfect CV on online, but even the spacing at the right-hand side of the CV is not aligned. Let me align it and make it justified. Let me add some color. Let me add a photo that shows that I'm an approachable person. Let me focus on my skills and elaborate how I have excellent written and communication skills. This is very important. They say, okay, so shall I build an empty CV? Just put a CV that doesn't have experience, put my education, my name, and that's it. Let's focus on what I have, my key qualities that I have.
Yes, and in addition, in the career objective, he said that an opportunity to capitalize my technical skills and abilities. So he needs more experience. يعني he has some experience. ما عنده هالexperience الواو يعني لشو بده يعمل capitalization.
I want to capitalize my technical skills and abilities. طب what are we as a recruiter? Okay, go capitalize them. Why do I need to recruit you? What benefits you will get to me, right? See, we started to think as a recruiter here. Bravo, Tala.
Yes.
So this is something seeking a challenging career with it's too generic. Let me put seeking a challenging career. Let me add next to it in the marketing department or in cosmetic sales department at your organization, and I can put between parentheses, I can put the name of the organization, and I can put in with Gucci, let's say, with Gucci, as I can add 1, 2, 3 to the organization. In the meantime, I can capitalize my technical skills and abilities, etc. Don't keep it generic. Try to make it specific, again, as per the position that you're applying for. Very good
صح، حتى
observation.
بباقي البارتس، حتى بباقي البارتس بالeducation والachievements والresponsibilities حطيتهم هيك مثل ما هن، ما عامل elaboration.
See, these are the kinds of CVs that we receive on daily basis, and a lot of companies receive the same template. If you're lucky, the recruiter will shortlist your CV and call you for an interview because they just want to close the position, or they like the name, or they like the template, etc. But if we are working with proper organizations and applying for multinationals that have good ATS, and ATS is an applicant tracking system. It's artificial intelligence that shortlists the CVs before it reaches a human being to look at the CV. So what do I need to do here? Use keywords from the job description, include them in the CV, like they are asking for organizational skills as a skill in the job description. I can mention it in one of the sentences that I have in my CV. I can mention it as well in the skills that I have on my CV. That way, the AI, or the applicant tracking system, the ATS, will shortlist the CV and send it to the recruiter for the recruiter to have like a more detailed look on the CV.
Yes.
So yes, definitely elaborating and make it specific is very important. So yes, thank you, Karim.
Yes, the references part available upon request. Like you said.
Yes, thank you for that. It's important because I'm just using space on the CV that I can use for something else. Yes, thank you, Karim. Razan?
I think إنه this line vertical line مش لازم يكون موجود، إنه just write them under each other. حتى كمان previous one عامل design، يعني it's more preferable to be basic، يعني ال CV بشكل بلا designs.
Yes, thank you. But don't you think that it's a bit boring CV?
Yes, I do.
Yes. Why do you think it's boring? How can you improve it?
I think لا إنه designs and colors and are important. And
To a certain extent, right?
Yeah, to an extent, of course. Yeah.
ايه بس ما تكون rainbow مثلا، انه ما يكون
مثلا
multi color.
مثلا
انه هيك
في
profile picture وشوي highlights يكون منيح I think.
هلا في ويب سايتس بتفوتوا اونلاين تبلشوا تفتشوا على how to write a perfect CV، بيقولوا لكم انه use colored paper or carton paper to make it stand out اذا طبعوها وحطوها. اول شيء بطل حدا عم يطبع CVs. Everything is online. In case they print out the CVs or you submit it in hand, it's good to have high quality paper بس مش كرتون، ما تكون قاسي ما فيها تنطبع. A high quality paper is important, and the color of the background can be, let's say, light gray or very light blue, off-white, for example, but not orange, yellow, black, etc. And let's add a little bit of coloring to the CV just to make it like eye-catching. Consider yourself the recruiter and look at your CV. Is it boring, or is it something that delivers the message clearly and professional? Use templates from Microsoft Word that fits you and you find them more relevant to you, and don't overdo it with the colors. So thank you, Karim. Malik, go ahead, please.
أول شيء good morning. هلا بالpre-professional experience, this is the first time I hear إنه في sector in the CV اسمه pre-professional experience. So what's the story with that?
Great. So now we started thinking outside the box a little bit. We are fresh graduates. What do we need to focus on in our CV? Pre-professional experiences is usually used for fresh graduates to show anything that you have done while studying, or it's not a professional experience in a well-established company. It might be something, a small family business, let's say. It might be a restaurant, working in a restaurant. It might be a project that you handled in university. It might be volunteering experience I remember I had a lot of volunteering experience before I graduate with NGOs, etc. And I started working on that to formulate them in my CV. Use any experience that you have that can show that you can actually add value to the company. Pre-professional experience in the case of fresh graduates is a main sector section in your CV.
Okay, thanks for clarifying.
You're welcome. Bassem?
Yes, hello.
Hi, Bassem. Please go ahead.
I had a question regarding the certificates that we have. Let's suppose I have a certificate in a domain that does not relate to the job. Shall I remove it or keep it as an extra, or depending on what it is, do I decide?
Yeah, certificates, don't remove them. If it's not relevant and if you have the space on your CV, a certificate is a certificate. This is something that you have. It might be used for future reference for your promotion, for example, or transfer from one department to the other within the company. Keep it on your CV for the recruiter and the hiring manager to have an idea about what you are passionate about, what you are learning, what you have learned so far. These are important to keep them in your CV. If you notice on LinkedIn, for example, which is very important for you, there's a whole section for certificates, no matter what's the certificate. I took a certificate in body language, and I work in engineering. I can include this in my CV. It can help me transferring between departments or promotion in the future.
Just one more thing.
Sure.
The way to present these certificates. I can't attach like things to the CV. يعني بس بكتب التايتل واي اد بالاخر انه references available مثلا. يعني let's say I obtained a PDF مثل certification.
Yeah. Can you take the logo of the certification and put it in a very nice way next to the certificate on your CV? If it's a well-known certification institute, worldwide accredited or etc., it's nice to take the logo, put it next to the certification and write the name of the certification. If you have the space, again, as a fresh graduate, don't press the information together. If you have the space, just write what is this certification. It might be something maybe a bit technical to that certification institute that I don't recognize. So just write briefly what it is next to it. And in case it's something very technical, like university degree, for example, which is education, the company might ask you for references later, right? They might ask you for the copy of the certificate or the bachelor's degree. So these are something that come later. On the CV, just write what you have.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. We have Aya and Zahir and Tala. So Aya, please go ahead.
Okay, what about job experiences? Imagine I have a job experience that is not related to the job I'm applying to. Should I mention it or not?
Yeah. So do you have the space for it again? Is it relevant to the job that you're applying to? It's not relevant at all. Let's find what's relevant in the job that you have done. You worked in sales and you want to work in marketing. Sales sometimes is not very relevant to the marketing positions that you're applying for as job description, because you're on the shop floor. Let's say you're working in retail. Let me take what you learned from your position as sales representative and put it in a way, formulate the sentence in a way that is relevant to the marketing. So I take that I know what the customers needs in the store when they visit the store. So I can formulate a small marketing plan. I can formulate, I can handle market research well because I understand the customer behavior in the store. For example, so you twisted you did not exaggerate, you did not put wrong information, you twisted your experience to make it relevant to the position that you're applying for. You can always think about how to formulate the sentence and think of what the company needs. So hopefully, I answered you. Welcome. Zahir, please go ahead.
Yes, good morning. I want to ask about projects that I worked on. Do you recommend adding a link to my OneDrive on the CV?
Yes, I do. In a nice, organized way, you can put a section, links for my projects. You can name it professionally as you find it suitable, and put the link, because now everything is digital, right? We're applying online. We use Word or PDF, so it's nice to have a link that will show your work. Some people are adding a link for video presentation of themselves, video CV, and I find it very interesting. If they are salespeople applying, for example, someone in sales, it's nice to have a video standing professionally, wearing your professional attire, and explaining why we should hire you, and talking a little bit about yourself. It should be like a 2-minute or 3-minute video. It would be perfect. So think maybe you want to explain it more as in a video, so you can put a link for video CV or projects.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, Rawa?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Regarding the project that we've accomplished in the university, shall we elaborate them instead of put a link in the CV?
It's always better to have it on the CV itself, elaborating and explaining briefly about it. What was your role in it? If it's a project, sometimes you really have to think how you contributed in the success of the project. So I'm talking a little bit fast because I'm conscious about the time. Focus on how you contributed. Sometimes you put a team together. When you put a team together, it shows that you have leadership skills and management skills and team building skills. You're a team player. This is one of the aspects that you should take from this project, not only the end result of what you gave the university as a project. Focus on whatever you did. I consolidated all the information required to build this machine as an engineer. I took the liberty to purchase the small elements and products that help contribute in 1, 2, 3. You know, just always think outside the box and how you added value. So yes, I recommend to elaborate, and if you have space, to add the link.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Razan, please go ahead.
What exactly should I write in the references?
There's no need for a references. I mean, you can, yeah, and you can remove it completely. References. Okay. I mean, if I call you for an interview and I shortlisted your CV, and I ask you for references, I know that you're going to provide me with references, right? So I'm not going to contact anyway your references until I get your blessing and I get your approval that I can contact those references. But I mean, if the reference is someone that I can ask about your previous manager, instructor, professor, etc. But some recruiters can do a mistake and call your manager without asking you. This is a mistake some recruiters do. So in this case, I prefer to remove the references completely, and then we talk about them in a later stage. Tala, yes, please go ahead. Sorry, Razan, hopefully I answered you. Tala, please go ahead.
Yes, I just want to say something about the previous CV اللي هو لجون I think. مش السيكونس اللي له ماشي فيه غلط الأوردر، يعني حاطط السيرتيفيكت بمحل تحت الاكسبيرينسز اللي عنده إياهم، مش لازم أول شيء تكون the certificate phase.
Yes and no. This is a template that you are using that had a lot of mistakes, but if you're a fresh graduate and you see the job posting that they are requesting specifically the first thing, like they request a CCE or let's say management graduate. It's good to have the education at the top to show that you graduated from this university in this major, and you make it in bold, because this is the first thing that they ask for, maybe for an internship, etc. But as you build your experience, the education sector section goes down and the experience goes up. The most relevant experience or the most recent experience, you put it on top, and then you go with the previous experiences to reach the education at the end.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. We have, I believe we'll take Malik. Malik, please go ahead.
Yes, I have a question about the titling when we write our name. هلا بنعرف انه مثلا for medical doctors بحطوا اسمهم then MD او whatever. هلا for fresh graduates of engineering is it okay انه مثلا نحط our name بعدين نحط BE او at the beginning ENGR dot the name?
Yeah, are you officially considering yourself an engineer after taking the certification or the degree from the engineering degree? It's okay to put the initials. I don't prefer, because you are still junior in your professional career. I prefer to write your name clearly, and under it you can put certified something or engineer. Mechanical engineer, CCE, under it, not in the same size as your name, because again, your name is the title of the whole CV. Write your name clearly, under it, in a smaller font, put your title. It's okay. And then you can elaborate in the CV. But don't put initials at the beginning. It will show that you are someone that is a bit showing off your credentials, etc. Just keep it simple and modest.
Okay, so in other words, it's only warranted and hot the initials down what we do once we have enough experience in the field. Then it makes sense. Okay.
It makes more sense. It's not about making sense completely, but it makes more sense because I believe that you earn these credentials more than having them because of a certificate or a degree. You earn it through experience. So focus on the name. Under it, you can put engineer, etc. It's fine. And then later on your LinkedIn profile, for example, you can put engineer, although I always prefer to start with the name.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, Malik. So I'll take غنوة, and I believe we need to wrap up. Please go ahead, غنوة. ما بدنا نأخركم كمان عن الكلاسز إذا حدا عنده classes بعد السيشن. Yes, غنوة, please go ahead.
Yes, أول شيء يعطيك ألف عافية.
Thank you.
بس هيك عندي a quick question. So let's say someone has a lot of projects and they took courses and that person is also a fresh graduate. So do you suggest like that person opens pages, or how can they add all of this information? Or do we just, like, for example, mention the most important projects?
Yeah, so you're saying you have so many projects and so many certificates, let's say, and trainings, and you feel like it's too much information to add them?
Yes. How do we add them?
Okay. First of all, we need to focus on what's relevant, as we mentioned, صح? We take what's relevant and we put them on top in a brief way. If there's something that needs explanation, please explain a little bit in a sentence or two about the project or the experience that you have, or the achievement, which is more important, in a sentence or two. Then you start listing at the end. If there's too much information to add on a CV and you can't list them all together, no need. You can put the number of certifications under a category. Like I took 5 certificates in mechanical engineering, which was extracurriculum or which was out of university. So you can put the number And if you couldn't, if you couldn't organize them in a proper way on the CV, then put the number, and then you can put a link that takes them to the certification that you took. But keep it simple, keep it straight to the point, and keep it relevant. Hopefully I answered you.
Yes, thank you.
You're most welcome. So if there's no other questions, I would like to thank you all for taking the time today. Focus on your CV. I would like to repeat that you need to focus on your CV. You need to tailor your CV, customize it based on the position that you're applying to. Don't use the same CV for different companies. Try to always customize it. Try to have it simple and professional. Put a personal touch in it, but keep it professional. Check the typos, review it, give it to someone else, maybe a professor to review it for you. Someone who works in HR. Put effort in your CV just to reach the interviewing stage, and make sure that you put yourself in the recruiter's seat and look at your CV, and then start applying. And always make it stand out. Thank you very much. Thank you for RHU for organizing the webinar. I'm looking forward to have the next webinar, and we go through the interviewing skills, how to be the perfect interviewee. We'll organize it soon, and we'll get back to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
You're most welcome.
Yes.